everybody for being here. I'm Tania with Twisted Heart Puppetworks. If you don't know who Grampus is, you are about to get a lovely crash course in the spirit of the Grampus. This piece is called Grampus Origin Stories, and I have to confess, this is not an actual origin story of the Grampus. It is a Twisted Heart Puppetworks version of an origin story. Thank you so much for being here, and yeah, let's go. Let's do this while I get oriented.
Grampus and the Origin Story by Twisted Heart Puppetworks. Long, long ago, in a time far older than moondust, Jupiter, and Mars, there lived two very special women. They were cousins and the best of friends, but the two could not be more different. Eden was a sweet young maid, born with hair so pale it resembled the milk of a goat and sparkled like crystals. Her cheeks were pink, as was her ample bosom, and she loved keeping her birds and picking apples in the sun. Her favorite color was red, for it always complemented her skin and made her feel generous. She was always making gifts of fruit to her friends and neighbors. Her cousin, Halia, was dark and small, but mighty, with a strong presence. Her hair was as black as the ravens she kept to carry messages to and fro. Her lips, red as blood, always delighted in color, but they also smiled a cold and crooked smile that gave many suitors pause. Halia spent a great deal of time tending her garden. She grew pumpkins, holly and mistletoe, and she loved collecting bones like a dark river collects moonlight. She told everyone her favorite animal was the goat because their eyes were otherworldly and intelligent. These two women, so different in look and demeanor, had a love for one another that stretched beyond familial obligation. They adored one another, and thus did everything together. One desolate eve in winter, they walked through the forest and became frightened when the great god Woden appeared leading the wild hunt through the sky. They shivered and clung together, thinking surely they would die. But Woden came down, proclaimed his wild hunt successful, and demanded food and drink from the women as tribute. Eden and Halia, being young and impassioned girls who liked to share, took him back to their home and gave him much more.
You take off his pants.
No, you take off his pants.
No, you take off his pants.
Screw it, I'll take off my own pants. And so it was that the two, who shared a vigorous night with the god, became pregnant. The magic that night of the wild hunt worked on the wombs of the women, and together, before very different mothers, the offspring grew in unique ways. Eden and Halia tended to each other in pregnancy, and when childbirth came, they did this together too. Eden was first, her labor mild and practically painless, and she gave birth to a beautiful apple-cheeked boy, whom she named Niklaus. Halia had just enough time to catch the child before her pains came, and she took to bed for hours of excruciating labor. When Eden caught Halia's child, she noted his odd frame, his thick, hairy legs, and two small horns that protruded from his brow. But nonetheless, she wrapped him in his mother's dark purple cloak, kissed his head, and proclaimed him perfect in every way. Both Eden and Halia knew that any manifestation of Woden's seed was precious in its own right, and so they named him Grampus, which in Halia's mother's language meant dark gift. They put the boys to rest and went about watching them grow. And so the boys were raised as brothers, and they approached each milestone as differently as two ever could. The early years. The school days. The wooing of the ladies. And the many nights creating a bond over good drink. And so it came that Grampus and Niklaus celebrated their 20th winter, and they found themselves walking home from a long night of drinking. They had nearly arrived, when to their wonder and dismay, they realized that indeed they were out on the eve of the wild hunt, the very anniversary of their conception. They felt certain they would perish in bloody heaps on the snow, for only the very foolish or touched goes wandering on the eve of the hunt. But Woden, smelling his own flesh and blood, recognized his sons, and flew down from the cavalry of spirits in the sky. "Greetings, my sons! Long have I desired to meet you. You both have the energy of your mothers. What goddesses! They blessed me not only with fine pleasures, but with strong and beautiful sons. You are grown now, and able to take up the tasks I have set for you. Niklaus, my son of light, I give you this magical bag. You need only think of a thing, reach in and grab it, and it will be made real. Whatever you wish shall be yours to give. I give you also the magic of flight, that any animal you take as your mount might soar through the clouds as I do on the wild hunt. Grampus, my dark son, to you I give the power of sight, that you may look into any human's heart and know their goodness and their wickedness. I give you also this basket of holy, which can hold 1,000 men captive and silent. You shall put the evildoer here, and do with them as you see fit for their crimes. Together, you will help keep this world in balance, the dark and the light, the giver and the punisher. You shall do this for me, and above all else, protect one another until time ends and the stars crumble." And so it was that Grampus and Niklaus became immortal, and were given the task of rewarding and disciplining mankind. They have kept their duties faithfully, as brothers, ever since.